Good afternoon and welcome to our sixth session actually this year. Today we have four representatives of four different programs here that in each one basically illustrates the diversity of our students and the different needs and backgrounds that our students have. We have Tracy Lutke on the left-hand side. Then we have Heather Partey, who is the Director of Math, Science, and Technology for Quality Education, which is a bridge program with the City Colleges of Chicago, which illustrates something really important about our students, the connection between the community colleges and our institution. Kim Sanborn, who is the director of the non-traditional degree program. We have Chris Over, who is the director of the honors program.
Hi again, everybody. My name is Tracy. I'm a faculty member in the anthropology department, and additionally, I'm coordinating the new global studies. This is an interdisciplinary major and minor, so someone can now get a bachelor's degree in global studies from Northeastern. We're in the process right now of building it. Topically, the Global Studies program addresses all of the forces, processes, and products linked to what commonly is termed globalization. So we're interested in all the things that are connectors in the contemporary world, things that cross boundaries, whether they be economic, political, cultural, etc. So it's a broad subject area. To orient students within that very broad area. The way the curriculum works is we have a smallish number of core courses in global studies that actually have a global studies prefix, but then the rest of the curriculum is made up from cross-listed courses from disciplines all across the university. So, in addition to introducing the program to all of you, I did also want to encourage you to participate. The strength of this kind of a program lies precisely in the engagement of as many faculty from different disciplines and perspectives as possible. And one of the most obvious ways you can do that is if you teach a course or would like to teach a course that has relevance to this broad area of global studies, we'd love to cross-list it with the program. So that means it would serve your home department, and then it would also serve global studies. Okay? So it doesn't mean reorganizing your entire syllabus. It means understanding your course to sort of hit more than one area at the same time. It's also an exciting opportunity for you to have a variety of other students come into your classrooms, right? So it'll be global studies majors, etc.
So I'm Heather Partey, and I'm going to talk about the math science concepts minor. Let me tell you a little bit about this program. It is a content-focused program for students who are interested in being math teachers and science teachers, but working with young adolescents. So it's specifically focused to that particular age group. That said, although it is a content preparation minor for future education majors, we have many students. It is an approved minor for any degree in the college, and we have many students who do go on to become, for example, majoring in environmental science. It is also an interdisciplinary program, and we cross all of the science departments and arts and sciences, the math department, and then we are in collaboration with the College of Education. We have a partnership with the City Colleges of Chicago, and students from the city colleges are in the classes with our students. We are the collaboration of collaborations, so we have 7 of the City Colleges of Chicago. Faculty from the city colleges co-teach in this program with faculty at Northeastern. We co-own the courses, and the students are in the classes together with those students. And what that's done for us is it broadens the perspective, it increases the success of the transfer, and it gets a more diverse student body into careers, into the STEM careers. Many of the students go on to become teacher education students. We're equally excited when a student comes into one of the math and science pairs and decides that they're ready to go on to become biology majors or physics majors. we cast kind of a wide net, so students are not necessarily math and science stars when they came in. One of the goals of this program is to look at how do you do a wraparound so you can support students, and many of the students who come to Northeastern who come from either high poverty, recent immigrants, or challenging educational environments. How do you support these students so they can really connect and become engaged in university work and really be successful? So it's a program with many layers of interest. Like the Global Studies, it is an interdisciplinary program. All of our courses are linked. They're learning community style. There's a lot of team teaching.
I'm Kim Sanborn with Non-Traditional Degree Programs, and we have two of those. One is the Bachelor of Arts in Interdisciplinary Studies, and the other is the University Without Walls. Both of them have their roots in the 1970s, so they've been all around a long time. They're designed for returning adult students, so Northeastern is a particularly good place to have these programs. In the Interdisciplinary Studies program, it's a little less non-traditional in that students need to complete 120 credit hours in order to get their degree. They assemble their own curriculum though. Oftentimes they come to us with many hours that they've accumulated through the military, community colleges, and over a long span of time. And we accept all of those credits. It's a generous transfer of credit policy, so that works for the returning adults. In that program, students also can create a portfolio of their experiential learning and represent it as college level learning. And for that, we rely on faculty to evaluate the portfolio and determine whether or not credit should be awarded. So that would be one good way for you to be involved and supportive of that program and the students who participate in it. The University Without Walls is really non-traditional in that it's not based on credit. So students get an undergraduate degree, either a Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science, and they don't really need to go to classes. I think they could go through the program, they'd have to take only one class to comply with the university graduation requirements of Writing Intense program. Everything else they can do outside of the classroom and not associated with credit. So for that program, the students also design their own curricula, and they identify a community person who will be their community advisor, and we help them identify an academic advisor from the university. And then on top of that, the way the degree is awarded, it's through a hearing process. So it's structured very similar to the dissertation thesis hearing. And for that, we involve two other faculty to serve as evaluators. So 3 faculty, 2 people from the community attend or comprise the review board and determine whether the degree should be awarded or not. So that would be another place that you might think about, being involved. Maybe sometime I might like to tap you on the shoulder and see if you could serve in any of those capacities. From an advising point of view, I would like you to keep in mind the Interdisciplinary Studies program. A proportion of our students, maybe as many as 20% of them, are referred to us from other academic majors because the students all of a sudden has to graduate in a hurry and can't take the time to complete the major. And so a lot of times faculty will send them to us to do a quick review of their academic credentials to that point and determine if they transfer to our program, could they graduate sooner. Sometimes it's the matter of they need to graduate immediately or they won't be able to come back to school anyway for various reasons. Sometimes it's a matter of they can't complete the capstone course in the discipline. We get students for that reason too. So you should keep us in mind when you're advising students who indicate that they're in a hurry to graduate and they can't complete the major in your discipline.
I'm Chris Over. I'm the coordinator of the University Honors Program. The University Honors Program is the only 4-year academic program at Northeastern, and by that I mean it's the only program that a student has to have a certain GPA to get in and has to maintain a certain GPA to stay. So the GPA requirement is a 3.5. students can apply at any time. So it's the only four-year academic program opportunity at Northeastern that has a GPA requirement to get in. But students can join the honors program at almost any point in their undergrad experience, so long as they have at least 2 semesters, preferably 3, before they plan to graduate. So about 55% of our student body at the moment is from current NEIU students. In other words, they came here, they started, they discovered us, and they applied in their second, third, fourth semester. So over 50% of our student body currently is from the population that was already here. About 10% of our population is transfer students, students that come from elsewhere and start with the University Honors Program when they join Northeastern. And about 35% of our population are native freshmen. They start with us in their first semester as freshmen. Refer your good students to us. We are a small program. We're about 115 students right now. We represent the entire campus, but we're still about 1.5% of the overall student body. So send us your good students. We can help them out. We have resources that would be available only to them. We have a nice budget that we allocate every year for University Honors Program merit tuition scholarships, we call them. So our students can apply every year for up to 12 credit hours of award per semester. And they can apply to those so long as they are maintaining their 3.5 GPA and making good progress in the program. We would love for you to get involved. There are multiple ways for you to participate in the honors program. You can teach one of our courses. We have 5 courses with an honors prefix that are taught out of our program. 4 at the Gen Ed level, 1 at the 300 level. The 300 level honors course is a research methods course, and it's interdisciplinary. If that sounds exciting to you, please email me. We can talk about it and see whether or not it's something you'd like to add to your teaching schedule. You can also work with individual students. Our students at the 300 level get honors credit for disciplinary courses. So they contract 300 level courses in their major for honors credit. So you can work with students who come to you and say, hey, would you be interested in making your course into an honors course with me? You can work with them and do that. It's another excellent way to participate in the honors program. You can also serve as thesis advisors.
For the global stuff, just what kind of courses is it aiming for? Is it more like sort of a general survey type courses, or what happens if you have a class that has a little bit of a prerequisite?
People do it in a variety of ways, and that's one of the things that I work with faculty to figure out. Ideally, or what works best, is if you can have either a very open policy regarding prereqs, or even at least do a sort of by instructor permission thing, right? Another approach sort of in that vein is to encourage folks who want to do this cross-listing to have maybe a set of possible prereqs, right? Like not just that you've had the intro class in this field, but maybe there are 3 or 4, right? Just to, in other words, to open up the possibility for somebody to get in. So yeah, that's an issue with cross-listing in general, but I guess the short answer is that there's a few options, and I'd be happy to work with folks to figure out what works. And I would never, encourage somebody to get rid of a prereq if they really think it's important, but I think there's ways to sort of work around it.
Just not sure how far it needs to go global. So
Yeah.
I have a course that's several weeks devoted to, basically it'll be pairing, looking at US and looking at global the following week, basically for every thematic section, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But at the moment, I don't really have much in the way of like globalization theory. It's not a general like.
Yeah,
course.
it doesn't need to be. I mean, basically, one way to think about it is the sort of the interdisciplinarity and the focus on things global needs to happen in the aggregate across the set of courses that the student takes. So that doesn't mean that all of it needs to happen in every single course, right? So it needs to contribute to this broader thing that they're going to be learning. So what I want to see from potential cross-listed courses is that you can sort of demonstrate to me how it would link up with that set of courses, but no, not every single course has to retell them the whole story of theory about globalization, right? They're going to get a fair amount of that sort of basic stuff in the intro classes, right? So it's more like making sure that the courses are complementary to that broader project than that they each stand alone as carrying every single aspect forward. So in other words, what you're saying sounds great.
Okay, I have a question about the University Without Walls.
Yes.
How does that work? I mean, how long does it usually take someone to get through that program?
Good question. Well, the policy is that they need a minimum of 24 hours that they pay for. So it's not really exactly credit, but that's how their tuition is assigned, and that's how they fulfill their residency too at the university. So they're supposed to go 12 hours each term, so it's possible to do it in 2 semesters. But I really haven't seen this done. Usually it takes them a little longer because they have to be self-motivated, so they have to keep themselves on task to come up with their learning contract, figure out how to document their claims to learning. They have to write a narrative transcript that will accompany the traditional transcript when they go to apply to graduate schools or for employment. And that one is about 6 pages long, and it details the learning in the variety of different categories. So they name their own depth areas, like their major, and then they also have to demonstrate learning in breadth areas that is sort of imitates general education categories.
Chris, could you talk a bit more about how students contract classes for honors credit?
Sure. So we're a small enough program that we don't have 300 level courses out of the honors program, right? So students overlap, their honors credit overlaps with their departmental requirements. So they'll take up to 3 courses at the 300 level in their major or their minor, but has to be at the 300 level, and they contract those for honors credit. We really encourage the students to be very creative in how they contract with the professor, but we're looking for a couple of things in particular in all the contracts. We're looking for disciplinary specific research of some kind. Might already be part of the class, but we're looking for some kind of discipline specific research practice. And we're looking for one-on-one relationships with faculty members so that students get used to building these relationships and turning their classroom into something that they're helping to direct. So those are the kind of rules of the 2 things that we really want to see. We also like to see the rest of the class learn from whatever happens. So students have come up with very creative and innovative ways to do this, from putting YouTube videos up and making them accessible to the classroom, to doing a PowerPoint presentation. It kind of runs the gamut for ways that they share what they've learned. But other than that, we really encourage the student to pursue their own ideas and interests and to work closely with the faculty member to figure out how to get something out of that class that will be theirs that the rest of the class might not get. Right? So it's not doubling the work, but it's finding a way for that student to pursue something that allows them to do the work and get something slightly different out of it.
Is it pretty commonplace then to add readings each week and possibly an additional paper assignment, or what's the most common approach? Is it very
That's an excellent question. I wish it varied more, frankly. The easiest and most common contract is an extended research paper, right? The course already has a research component in it, and the honor student works with the faculty member to extend it, to add a component, to add sources, right, to make it something a little bit more substantial. That's probably the most common contract. And then it can get more exciting. Like last semester, we had a student with a professor with a contact at the Nature Preserve Center across the street, and she went and did tours during maple season and taught kids how to extract maple from trees and made maps of the location, right? So that was a much more hands-on kind of getting into the community and turning a botany class into a kind of study of maple.
So students could also do service learning?
Absolutely. They can do whatever they want, so long as there's a research component and they're working through it in conjunction with a faculty member. We want students to have a different relationship with the class than they would otherwise. Get to know that faculty member in a very different way than if they were just showing up to the class every time. So yeah, they can do whatever they want.
How about non-traditional degree programs, University Without Walls, or looking at prior experience. Has anyone done that? It's a very interesting job. Through University Without Walls, we've had senators get their degrees, state senators and representatives, and all kinds of folks from around the state have worked over the years with that program and are very grateful and supportive of it. But it does need, as you said, that total self-discipline and really an understanding of how I can put together in a portfolio what I know so that an academic person could see that I really know. Right? It's a really tough call.
In interdisciplinary studies, the portfolio in that one functions in that the student prepares a portfolio in alignment with an existing course, either here at Northeastern or somewhere else. So that one's a little more clear cut. So then an expert, someone who has taught the course or a very similar one, can look at the portfolio and determine if credit should be awarded or not.
How about the math science, the MSTQE? It's a very, very interesting program. It's probably the most bureaucratically difficult because we're dealing consistently with 3 institutions of higher ed, 2 community colleges, plus now all of the city colleges and us, 3 systems of scheduling, IDing, all of that stuff. And the folks here can teach our courses at the community colleges or vice versa. So sometimes the community college folks come here and teach our students and their students here. But it is bureaucratically, Heather has worked miracles with this program.
The faculty that teaches in it really want to stay deeply involved, and they're very creative because much of this is getting deeply into the material and then looking at how you can make it engaged, hands-on, and connected to what's really going on globally as well as locally here. It's very much aligned with what the National Science Foundation is talking about in terms of the only way to really get truly innovative, creative studies that lead to change is to come together in an interdisciplinary basis and dive into the pond and really touch and do things.
How long do the students stay in that program? I mean, since it's sort of a bridge program, right? They're not graduating in there?
They do graduate from
Okay.
here. Is that what you're asking me? They start with us from the day they begin their college studies, although because they're city college students, they're all different places and all different levels. They do finish, we have a very high graduation rate. We have almost 100%.
How large a program should an honors program aspire to be?
I think it should only be as large as the university is willing to support. Right now, our resources cover about 75% of our students that apply. Our resources are doing a very good job of sustaining and maintaining our current program, as small as it is. So I'd love to see the program get bigger, but our budget has to grow with the size, I think, to justify growing the program. There are lots of benefits. The benefits of having these relationships with faculty member and doing kind of extended research that they wouldn't do otherwise, that's excellent. But another benefit is the resource pool that is only open to that. That's important, right? It's an academic program and they get academic riches for doing their good work. They apply and they get from 3 to 12 credit hours tuition waiver per semester. And we can support that. About 75% of our applicants get something.
But do you think that 25% of students not getting supported directly financially is about the limit, sort of, from your experience?
Oh, I'd love to see it more. I mean, I'd love to see our resources get bigger. But what I would not like to see is to grow and staying stagnant with our resources. So yeah, I'd love to see the resources be much bigger than that.
And it's not only the student support. I mean, I think it's the office itself, the staff.
Right,
The
that's
time,
true.
the
That's
advising,
true.
all of that.
And the department, I think right now, we get an extraordinary amount of disciplinary supports. We have departments that work with honor students on a regular basis, and that too is expensive, and that's support. If we get bigger, then that puts that much more of it's a much more of a benefit for the programs that are supporting those students. But you know, the CUs that you get for advising an honors thesis, right? The departments that take on this work and do a lot of it, that adds up as an institutional cost.
How difficult it is to get into an honors program? Like among those applicants, what's the percentage that could get admitted into the program?
So they need a 3.5 on paper to get in. As a freshman, if they're coming to us without a university GPA, they get in by being either in the top 10% of their graduating class or by having an ACT score of 25 or above. At the freshman level, they just get in with those numbers. One or the other, they can get in, and we'll support them. We do, I should have said this, we do support all of our incoming freshmen without applying for it. We just kind of welcome them into the program because they are eligible, and we support them for their opening semester here. Everybody else needs a 3.5, and they write an essay. The essay is scored on a point system of 6 in 4 categories, in both content and writing in the conventions of writing in English, so 6 points total. We admit anybody that earns 4.5 out of 6. We just admit them. A 3 and above, we invite them to resubmit. And below a 3, we send this lovely letter that says we know that their writing is going to continue to get better, and we'd love to see an application again in a year, right? So we don't really send anybody away forever.
You mentioned that for the freshmen, they can actually get into it once they meet some kind of requirements. Do you mean that they could also get out of the program later on?
If they don't maintain a 3.5, and this happens, right? We get freshmen that come in and their numbers are crazy high, and they get their first semester at college, and it's, no, it's not working. They have to maintain that 3.5 at the college level. And the students that drop below a 3.5, we have a meeting, we develop a success plan, we put them on a kind of regimen to get that GPA back up, and we give our students an academic year to get themselves back up to a 3.5. We also do some wheeling and dealing with students that, if they're 2 semesters before graduating and they dip below, if there's a possibility that they can graduate with a 3.5, we'll let them continue in the program. I mean, it's really a program about allowing students to try and do this work. It's not a program that says, you fall once and you're out, forget it. It tries to be a very accommodating program and a very flexible program because our students need that.
So if I had an outstanding student that I wanted to encourage to participate in the program, what should I tell them?
You should tell them to check out the honors program. You'd be a great candidate for the honors program. Check it out online. If you think you're interested, apply. Or email the director and sit down with her and have her discuss with you how it will fit into your plans. I love to meet with students. I do that all the time. They want to know, what's in it for me? Is it going to take me longer to graduate if I do this? Why should I do it? And I love to have those conversations. So you can send them to me. Also, they should check out the website. The new website will be much nicer looking than the current one. But all the information is still there. It's an academic program, right? There is at the 300 level, 15 credit hours of work to complete. That's 6 credit hours of undergraduate thesis and 9 credit hours in the major. So there's work to do. But if they're planning on graduate school, or if they're really exceptional students that just dig doing this kind of work, then they should be part of the program.
There's also the McNair Scholars Program. Have you introduced something that? Okay. That's a good place for outstanding students, especially if they aspire to an academic career, if they want a PhD. Milka has experience serving as a McNair mentor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are the courses for the honors program different from other courses? Like, so in my previous university, the honors program will assign edge, right, for the course, say business statistics, 368 edge, but they indicated the honors program.
Yes.
We haven't seen this.
We have a similar process here. So say a student adapts a 300 level course with you for honors credit. Then that student will get a Z prefix on their transcript before the course information. So it's not an H prefix here, it's a Z prefix. So that the honors curriculum is visible on the transcript. And courses that come out of the honors program are ZHON courses. So Z honors courses, and so those are also recognizable on the transcript. Does that
But
answer
the
your
class is
question?
also different, right? So this class is only for honors program.
We only have 5 designated honors courses that are taught out of the program. 4 of them are at the gen ed level, and only honors students take those. And then the 300 level research methods course for our scholars at the 300 level. The benefit of the gen ed, the honors sections of gen ed courses, is that they're small in comparison with gen ed courses. We have 10 instead of 35.